Hi guys, and welcome back to another Top Flight show by RunThrough. I'm Richard Morrell, and joining me on the sofas today, we've got none other than race director, Mr. Chris Parr. Hello, Chris.
Hello.
And I feel like I can't give you the same oomph on the intro after he gets the big Mr. Race Director. Former international athlete?
That'll do.
Former international athlete, Stacey Smith. Stacey, good to have you back.
Thank you. It's good to see you, gents. Again.
How's it going? You're both well?
No comment. No, I've been doing some swimming and bit of gym work. I'm going to try and get myself on the turbo.
Yeah.
I get unmotivated to do them like rehab type activities.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because I just want to be doing a bit more of them. But now I haven't really run much for about 6 weeks. So
yeah.
Who knows? I'm on the entry list for Battersea, but who knows? Maybe I'm at about like 20% likely to run now.
You kept that quiet.
Yeah.
No, well, I ended because like 6 weeks ago I raced and I was going all right. So I thought after 10 weeks between then and between that last race and Battersea, I'll have a stab at maybe getting towards 15 minutes, something like that. But yeah, I mean, I've had 6 weeks off now, so it'll be, can I get to the start line and then get myself round?
Oh, well, I picked up a little bit of a niggle. It's not a major one, but just after Shetland 10K, I noticed a little bit of quad tightness, which I always get after all of my races for some reason. And I came down with a virus. Apparently, like COVID's doing another round, so it's like flu type symptoms. I'm over it now, but I still trained through it, and I just thought it was a bit of fatigue from the race.
You felt rough before the race as well, didn't you?
Yeah. So and then all that week following after the race, I felt so horrendous, but I thought it was fatigue from the race.
Yeah.
It was a virus, and I think it was COVID because a few people that I know close to me have all come down with COVID, and I think that's what I had. So anyway, I trained through it because I just thought, if I knew I had a virus, I would have scaled everything back.
Yeah.
Tweaked my hip a little bit, so I'm back on the bike for a bit, which is fine because
I've seen you
I love the bike.
Yeah, getting some scenic rides in mind.
I really enjoy it. I'm going to do a duathlon.
Oh, yeah.
I am.
Is that the next big thing for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do running race. I still want to focus on running, but I think I really enjoy biking as well. And I just think it's the combination of the two. I can't do triathlon. So many people have said, why aren't you doing Ironman? No, horrendous. I can't swim.
Oh, can you not?
No, like I can do, my pace for 100 meters is like 2 minutes. That's horrendous.
That means an out on me.
That's quick.
It's slow. No, it is slow. It's bad. Anyway, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right.
I
mean, I knocked in 16 mile over the weekend, so I feel like out of the three of us,
you're probably the fit.
I'm probably the fit. Well, actually, I still don't know. I still don't know because they're 16 very, very slow miles. But you know what it is? It's the summer months when the sun gets out, slip into them carbons, and I'm like, oh, I love this. Yeah, so it's good to be back.
Go on you. I'm glad you're getting out there.
Absolutely. So we've got loads to talk about, absolutely shed loads to talk about. We've got a big Battersea Park preview coming up today. Obviously, we'll crack into the leading entries and things like that for the Battersea Park race as we progress on through the pod. But one thing I did note, we obviously have to do quite a bit of prep work for the athletes that are racing, especially when we're doing the commentary work, Stacey, as you'll know. One thing I've seemed to have noticed for a lot of athletes that we're doing the prep work for the Battersea Park fixture coming up is that they all seem to have ran their PB at Battersea Park or season's best at Battersea Park, but the majority of them run the quickest times there. So I've never raced there. I know, Chris, you'll have been there. I don't know whether you've raced there, and Stacey, the same to you. So I'm going to throw over to you is why is Battersea Park such a quick course? Because when I watch it, it doesn't look any different from another park, but everyone seems to run rapid there. Is it just quality of fields? Is it combination of things, or what?
Yeah, so I ran a Battersea last year, if you remember, in the top flight. Got myself on that start line. It is very, very flat, so it's 2 laps for the 5K. It's just around about 2.5K a lap. Really flat. And it's tree lined on both the insides and the outside. And I just think with it being like so central in London, you get a much higher turnout rate than like anywhere else because it's so central London. It's easy for a lot of people to get to. Like I'm going down to the one on the 25th of June, and it's like £75 return on the train. I can just go on the afternoon. I can come back after the race, so it's really accessible and easy to get to.
Yeah, that's a good
and
point.
I think just reputationally now, because like you've just said, these athletes have ran PBs there, so athletes want a banker, and we've said this for the Top Flight series in general. I've said from the start, it might take like 2 to 3 years to get the right position on the calendar for all the races, the right distance, the right venues. But once you've got them, you've got to stay, because athletes are creatures of habit. So if they know, okay, well, that one's at Battersea, therefore that one's going to be fast, or Ribble Valley, it's always fast to Ribble Valley, so we're always going to go there.
Abbey Dash.
Abbey Dash, races like that. So Armagh. So there's no difference really in Armagh to Battersea. Battersea's flatter than Armagh. Armagh's got a lot tighter corners, so it's not like on paper when you look at it, you would think, with all the concertina at the corners, but because everyone's like, we'll go to Armagh, we'll run fast. The atmosphere and people are going there with that expectation that they're going to run fast, and I think that's what it is for Battersea. There are obviously other flat parks, but maybe the tree lining does make it less windy. You've also got the mass run-through race that's following it. So we've got like around about 1,500-1,600 people in that race who are there watching this, giving everybody a shout. It does make a difference when you've got a crowd there. Yeah. So obviously there's other races where you can go and there's no real crowd. Like, well, we'll talk about this on another podcast, but like Grand Slam track where they've got no crowd and it like lowers the atmosphere quite a lot. At Battersea, it's the other way around when there's a run-through event on, because you've got 1,600 people plus friends and family coming to watch, chant for people as they're coming around. I think it's just a full package. What do you think?
Have you raced there, Stacey?
I've never raced there. No, I've ran and I've trained around there. I've never trained on a track yet. I'd love to get down there and actually race at Battersea Park, whether it's the park or the track. But I've trained around there, and it's such it's the running community down in London is huge. It's absolutely massive. So whenever any big events are happening, you do tend to see them happening down in Battersea Park. You've probably got a few hubs, I would say, in the UK at the moment. You've got London, Manchester, some actually happening in and around Newcastle, and then in Scotland as well with Edinburgh and Glasgow. Yeah. It's your main cities that you tend to find these running hubs.
Yeah. I mean, I think, from our side of things, just, the quality of racing that we've seen, and, I had the pleasure of commentating on actually, and I think, we've got a little highlight reel for you guys that are watching us on the YouTube channel now. We've seen some, phenomenal races at Battersea Park. I've seen Omar Ahmed win there. I've seen Cam Allen absolutely dominate there.
You've seen international athletes dominate there.
Yeah,
as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was Nina. She ran 15:34.
Yeah, Jess Gibbon had a real good run round there as well. And then this was from one of our events last year in July time. This was the Battersea Chase the Sun 5K, which was part of the Top Flight series as well. And this was just, we talked about this at the time. We raved about this. This was a fantastic finish to a race that you're seeing on the domestic scene. I mean, you look at Escalante Phillips there finishing like an absolute train. And, he was beating Alfie Manthorpe into second place, Alfie is having a fantastic season himself in his own right throughout the winter. He's really kicked on this year and he's becoming quite a force over the 10K distance. But yeah, we've seen some great runs there. So a fixture that we'll be clinging on to for a long time, I imagine, Chris.
Yeah, I think if we put Battersea in, like, we want to spread the series across the UK.
Yeah.
Obviously, some of that involves being in the London area. So we have gravitated towards Battersea because it is that banker. So there's more of a risk or uncertainty if you go to somewhere new where it's like, we know we can do it again. So I guess top priority is putting on a top event for the athletes, to serve the athletes.
Yeah.
So we know we've got Battersea. We can use that a few times. We can do it as a 5K, 10K. We did look at doing it as a half marathon. It's just, we want to separate the Top Flight from the mass race if it's going to get laps. Because you don't want to have to be weaving in and out of runners. So if you were to do the half marathon at Battersea, you would have to put the whole thing on like an hour and a half before the mass field, so that's a little bit more to consider compared to, you know, the 5K going half an hour earlier or the 10K going 45 minutes earlier, something like that. So yeah, we've got to, Battersea's the venue for us in London.
Yeah.
It's not to say that we won't try elsewhere, but yeah, that it's a bit of a banker.
Give me a yes or no answer. I know this will be really hard for you, but for both of you, give me a yes or no answer. Battersea Park, Mecca of British road running.
Yes.
Quayside.
So that's it all. Right, we'll leave it at that because, I mean, there's plenty to talk about courses. But another course we should talk about, which was one of our first ventures it was our first venture for Top Flight up into Scotland for the Shettleston 10K coupled with the Babcock series. Seen some great runs there, some real strong performances from Natasha on her way back from injury. Coming back and debuting for 2025, a fantastic 10K, real strong performance there. And we had Omar Ahmed taking the win there as well. So, I mean, you guys, you'll have been watching. I know you were both at different. Well, you were there, Chris.
I was there, yeah.
You were racing, Stacey, but I know you both watched the show after. We can see the prize money that Natasha and Omar both clicked there. It goes back to what Jake Dearden was saying on his previous click, that the sport is incentivized. That's what Top Flight is doing different, and we can see the the financial rewards that both of them have got there for winning the 10K. So, what would you take on the event, both of you?
I thought it was an excellent event. Shout out to Shettleston Harriers and the three clubs who were involved in the Babcock series, who was also Dumbarton AC and Helensburgh Athletics Club. So they all muck in to help each other with the Babcock series, and it's central Glasgow. So again, in terms of a hub for Scotland, it's known. It's got a reputation as a really good race. It is a very twisty course, so it's probably not like the absolute fastest, but it's always had a reputation as having a strong field and a good race. So, I mean, the times speak for themselves. Don't they? Omar was just outside 29 minutes. Natasha 32 minutes, 32 and a half, 32:40 something.
Yeah, I think
which was a PB. Yeah, so really great racing from both of them, and it was a really engaging race because there was a group at the front of the men's, and Natasha was on her own in terms of the ladies. She had a big gap, but it was great to follow with it being a 2-lap race. I was on the bike, but you could take shortcuts and see from quite a few places. So
did Natasha have a pacemaker? Was that a pacemaker with her? Because she did have company.
She had company. It wasn't a pacemaker.
Yeah.
Well, it just so happened.
Yeah. So she got. I know. I was commentating on it with Tom Lancashire, who've done a fantastic job. So shout out for Tom for coming into the studio and giving us a hand with that. That was really kind of him. But yeah, they. Natasha seemed to move through the second half of the race really well. So was consistently pulling on groups of other athletes that were maybe coming back over. I think it looked, she was always in good company as well, which I think was key for her to have a strong run like she did, because you don't want to be trapped in no man's land. It's an absolute nightmare, especially on the longer distances when you're getting back into racing as well. So I think the stars sort of aligned for Natasha in that race, and
conditions were good as well.
Yeah, it looked warm.
Yeah, it was just a lovely day, lovely May day. And I guess if we go back to like Battersea being the next one, and speaking of the prize money, we've got more prize money on the line for Battersea.
Yeah.
And hopefully the field is gonna whack them bonuses again.
Yeah. So for anyone watching, we'll bring up the prize money for the Top Flight races at Battersea Park. You can see there we've got £200 for the race winner, £200 course bonus, and then we've got our standard performance-related coin as well per position. So, there's potential of big money there for the athletes that are really at the thin end of the wedge.
Yeah, I mean it's the full prize money is on the website, and we don't want to keep like repeating ourselves every podcast, but if you can go and have a look, you could get £1,350 in a race if you were to hit all the time bonuses. Including the UK lead and a run-through record, which is like the fastest time in any run-through race. At some point, somebody's going to do that, because every race we're putting on now, the bar has gone. The bar has gone up. Like if you were to, maybe I'll do that for next time. Look at the average 10K winning time for us over the last year now. And now that we're like halfway through the year, if you look at all the 10K winning times and all the 5K winning times, they're just getting faster and faster.
Yeah.
Some of these records are going to go.
Yeah.
And yeah, then, you know, that means the next year you're going to get an even stronger bunch wanting to come to that race because they've seen how fast it was the year before. So yeah, it's just keep going from strength to
I
strength.
think as well as some things that we, you know, can almost forget as well, as it is a series, and we do have our current standings of the athletes that are leading that series. And we'll bring up a slide of that as well. But, you know, last year we seemed to have a few key athletes. You know, Kirsty Longley, she was a regular at the events. I don't think we've seen her race at one this year. I'm not sure why. Omar Ahmed, always, you know, he's always turning out for the top flight races, and he's in fantastic form, and he's managed to get himself at the top of the leaderboard. Obviously, we've got Camilla McNursby and the women's side of things. The women's side of things is a very different landscape to the men's. If you're looking at the men's, you've got a few there that have had, you know, Omar and Sam Gabriselassie, they've had a few races under their belts now.
Yeah, 3 for Sam and 4 for Omar.
Yeah.
Interestingly, obviously, Sam beat Omar in the first.
He did
in the first race in Newcastle. And we thought, would that, if they ended up tied on points, could that be like influential in the overall series? Omar, with getting the extra races in now, is actually slightly above on the points.
Yeah.
But like you said, interestingly, on the women's, we've had a different winner at each one, and we've said quite a lot of times we need to get the ladies back to do more races, but the door's wide open now. So you've got 5 different winners from 5 different races.
Yeah.
There's 7 races of the series to go. If some of those ladies come back and get another win or extra points on the series, it could end up being really, really tight, because it's unlikely that they're going to do all of them races. But with the geographical spread, we've got, you know, 2 races left in the London area. We've got 2 in the northeast. We've got the north in terms of Cheshire. We've got Ribble Valley at the end. So yeah, it's spread geographically. It's going to be Aintree as well for the north one. Yeah. So yeah, we could get people from different areas choosing their local race or doing like one from further afield. And I think after Battersea, it will look a little bit different, especially on the men's, because there's quite a few who are entered who've already ran one race who might be lower down in that table there. And to qualify for the overall series, you need to have run in 3 races to trigger the bonus money. So yeah, hopefully, well, one of our main targets for this year is get more athletes doing the 3 races to get involved in the overall bonus money. So it's going to happen in the men's, just because of the volume there. But yeah, it would be great to have, you know, 20 ladies who've also done 3 races and getting right up there, making it really interesting and go down to the wire.
It's wide open, isn't it? It's wide open.
It is.
Well, on the note of people racing, I feel like we should dive into our leading entries for Battersea Park. There's some familiar names on there, especially on the men's side. I mean, Chris, I feel like you'll probably have the most intel on the top of our list. John Beattie there. I mean, I know he's been around a while, hasn't he, John? And he's been a fantastic athlete over the years.
Great to see him.
I'm sure I've seen some stat on him that he was like sub 30 for 10K, like 10 or 12 years in a row, or something like that.
Must be more than that by now. Yeah, John's a great runner. I mean, sometimes the PBs are a little bit misleading when they come up on the start list, because obviously that's a while since I said take me off there because I was on the start list, and it sort of, if your season's best nowhere near, maybe then you look at the season's best rather than the PB. But yeah, we've got quite a few runners under 40 minutes. I think Josh Grace looking potentially like the favourite from that.
Yeah.
In terms of current form as well. We've also got, like I said, quite a few returners who aren't on that list, who've ran well in some of the other races and are going to be right up there. So yeah, I think it's one to keep an eye on. We've got 3 weeks left, and it looks like it's going to be a sub 14 race. It looks like we're going to have like 20 or so athletes who are well beneath that 14:30 mark. So going to be hot.
Yeah, we've got some good names on both the men's and the women's side as well. Kate Estley Morris, one of the Aldershot and Farnham district athletes. She's our quickest on paper with a 16:13 PB there. Neve Brown as well, closely followed behind her. And I've noticed that Neve had some really strong performances on the cross-country scene in the past as well. I'm sure she was 5th in the National Cross in 2022. So
good start.
Well, yeah, I'm sure she is because I researched it. So when I say I think, I'm sometimes being, I definitely do know. But yeah, so we've got strong contenders on both sides. Any names jumping out at you, Stacey?
I don't know. I was just looking at the times there, and the course record is about 30 seconds faster than that.
Yeah.
In 34 from.
Yeah, it is. So they might not get the course record, but it certainly looks like a good. I think it's going to be low 16s for them. Looking at who's entered, I think it's going to be around about low 16 on the women's side. I can't see a sub 16 at this one. But there's a lot that can happen from now until Battersea. There's a fair few weeks, and we do tend to see a lot of late entries, especially in the London region where you do have that running hub.
Yeah. So, Chris, I'm going to hand it over to you here. Ping us a date and a time for Battersea Park. When can you tune in?
So Battersea Park is on Wednesday the 25th of June, and it's an evening race, so it's 6:30 p.m. So if you're in the London area, get yourself down and watch or race, or running the RunThrough 5K or 10K that follows straight on. And yeah, we'll hopefully we'll see you there. We'll have the live stream.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you two will be commentating.
I'll be there.
Hopefully Cameron back as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and I guess one thing that we didn't mention that we should have done, I forgot to make the big announcement.
What's the big announcement?
Quayside 5K in August is now going to be fully road closed, and we talked about how fast Battersea Park is, but this is potentially the fastest course. So, yeah, that's big news. So basically, anybody who watched the live stream there from April or from last year, we've always been on the Quayside path, which is very, very flat. It does have some street furniture, and it can be a little bit windy because it's obviously exposed on the river, but there's lots of engineering work at the Tyne Bridge, so we have to close the road anyway. So the council have given permission to just fully close the road, so it means it's a lot wider. It's a straight out and back. It's the same as Newcastle 10K that we had in January. So yeah, when I started this race in 2014, the ambition was eventually we get it to be big enough to go as a full road closure on the road, and then you don't have the risk that a cyclist or a dog walker or whatever can get onto the path. That's not going to happen on the road, so it removes some hazards, and I think that just makes it faster again. Yeah. So there's one turn on the course, it's just flat road. So yeah, I think Scott Beatty's won it the last 2 years, 13:45 and 13:48. This is a faster version of the course now, so yeah, there's no reason why we can't get fireworks there in August.
Yeah.
Sunny night in the Toon on a Wednesday night. It'll be roaring.
Get in.
It'll be raucous. And obviously we've been talking about Battersea today, but we're approaching June, so we're halfway through the series essentially for 2025. What are your thoughts on it, Stacey? Like any sort of takeaway moments, sort of from the times that you've been in the studio with us and commentating on races, and just general sort of reflections on the series? Because, like I said, we're getting halfway through 2025 now, the second year of Top Flight. So yeah, where's your headspace at on it?
Yeah, I love the fact that we've gone into Scotland for the first time this year. Yeah. It was needed. It's really, really needed. We talk about supporting athletes across the UK as much as possible. We needed to be in Scotland because they really are neglected at times. As the northeast of England is, but certainly Scotland, I just find gets forgetting about at times. So I'm really pleased to see a fixture in Scotland. So that's been one of the highlights for me this year, is that we've been able to provide a quick race there for Scottish athletes up in Glasgow. Yeah.
And Chris, you're probably, I can imagine your mind is on Top Flight for 2026 as well. But any sort of takeaway moments for you?
I think just that the quality's gone up and the quantity, and that's what we wanted to work on. It's not one or the other for me. It's both. We want to have higher quality and in more quantity, and that's what we're getting. It will take, I've said a few times, it will take a few years to work out what all of the fixtures should be. So some will change, but I think we're there with 85 to 90%. And yeah, we'll just keep going. And if anybody's got any ideas, they just need to send a message. And if it's something that we can do, we'll look at it and try to do it. But yeah, like you said, with the Glasgow race, it's brought in some of those athletes now. So you've got like Natasha Phillips. We just need to get her to do one race in the northeast, for example. That's not too far away. Let's say she goes and runs at Quayside and then at Ribble Valley, which again isn't too far because it's more centralised. She could then win the series on that. So I think it's brought those guys into the fold, which is massive.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your highlight so far?
Oh, it's a tough one, you know. I think I wouldn't say it's a particular highlight. It's more just, it sort of echoes what Chris has said there. From seeing the first race that was done in Newcastle in January 2024 to how everything has evolved around the top flight branding, the quality of the races, the quality of the production, the new members coming into the team like yourself coming in to do the commentary, getting you on the pod. I just think watching it grow over 18 months, looking back when I look back to how it was in January and I thought, God, this is cool. This is something new. This is fresh. This is going to take off, to then seeing where it is now. It's more just the process, that evolution that I think, God, I'm so intrigued to see where this will be in 3-4 years' time. Because why couldn't it be something really, really big?
Yeah.
It's got the potential to.
It's going to be.
And on that note, if we're making it big, we need a favour from you guys at home. I'm cap in hand again. I'm like this every episode. So what do we need from you guys at home? The little favours that we need is, if you enjoyed this show, maybe give us a little like. There we go, there's a click for you. If you liked it even more, stick a share on there. Or, even better, give our YouTube channel a follow, because we'd really appreciate just getting a bit more exposure to this show. And if you appreciate it, then, you know, we'd really appreciate the likes and the support. So thank you for that. And you guys on the couch have been fantastic again. That's my plea over to the general public watching the Top Flight shows. And we'll see you next time.